The Wave of Light structure deck, which is released today, has so many awesome new cards in it. It has Parshaft support, it has Counter Fairy support, but more importantly, it has a couple of underlying strategies and concepts I think we can use to make other deck profiles. Let's see how many likes this video can get, and I'll start revealing those type of deck profiles. This set is really awesome, but today, not only am I going to be opening a box, I'm going to be showing you guys what can we make out of these three structure decks. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go ahead and destroy that subscribe button. But you could also shine a wave of light on that notification bell because we just too strong. Did I do it right? Yeah, I did it right. Without further ado, I present to you a Wave of Light structure deck box opening and structure deck challenge. Alright, we can start with box number 1. Woo, it's going to be some pretty awesome cards in here. Let me go ahead and start opening it. And here we are. So it comes obviously with the Wave of Light Beginner's Guide. It comes with a, I think this is a Field Zone mat. And the Field Zone mat actually looks pretty damn dope. I'm really liking the new monsters we have as support. It also comes with a suite because you just spent up to $30 on 3 structure decks. Let me give you some dual links, bro. And then, of course, I believe this is somewhat of a rulebook / beginner's guide. So it does come with some interesting things. But more importantly, let's start with the structure deck. Now, I'm going to be opening the second one. No, I'm just going to read the cards with you guys. Ooh. So there's a little slip in between you got to pull. And just like every other structure deck, these cards come right out. So one of the new cards is Eva. And what Eva does is if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish 2 other light fairy monsters with the same name. Oh, I'm sorry. If this card is sent to your graveyard, you can banish 2 other light fairy monsters from your field or graveyard. Add the same number of level 2 light fairy monsters with different names from your deck to your hand except Eva. Or level 2 or lower. That card's pretty good. So it comes with ultra rare Sacred Arc Air Knight Parshaft if you activate a counter trap card, or if you negate the activation of a spell, trap, or monster effect except during the damage step. You can banish 2 other fairy monsters from your hand, field, or graveyard. Spell summon this card from the graveyard if it was there when you activated, or when you activated negated, or hand even if not. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can add 1 Parshaft card or 1 counter trap card from your deck to your hand. Whoa! That is a lot of effects. This is the boss monster of the deck. Pretty easy to summon too. All you gotta do is negate a card. Like, that's dummy easy. Next is Power Angel Valkyria. This card says if you negate the activation of a spell or trap card or monster effect, add 1 light fairy monster from your deck to your hand. I really like this card. This card's awesome. The Sanctuary of the Parshaft says this card becomes Sanctuary of the Sky while on the field or in the graveyard. Fairy monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. Set spell and trap cards cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponents by card effects. Once per turn, you can target a total of 3 fairy monsters and or counter traps with different names in your graveyard. Place them on top of your deck in any order. Alright, so the new cards are looking really geared towards Sanctuary of the Sky and the negation. Rebirth of the Parshaft says when a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, reveal 1 counter trap in your hand, discard 1 card, pay 1,000 life points. Whoa, that's a lot of cost. Negate the activation, and if you do, shuffle that card into the deck. Then spell summon 1 Parshaft monster from your hand or extra deck. Oh my god, I actually get to use the Parshaft Synchro. I've been having that card since the Duelist Genesis. Gonna be really fun to use. Minerva, the Scholar of the Sky. Each time a counter trap is activated, immediately after this card resolves, this card gains 500 attack. And if it does, if the Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field, add 1 counter trap card with a different name from your graveyard to your hand. That's pretty much it for all of the new cards. Everything else is relatively old. I'm not necessarily going to go all over every single card. We're just going to go over the new cards. And I think that this adds a whole nother dimension to the counter fairy aspect. So now I'm just going to go ahead and open up the other 2 structure decks. And we're going to go from there. It's going to be really interesting to see how I can make this deck competitive. One thing I did notice is that the Sanctuary of Parshaft is not a field spell. If it were a field spell, oh my god, it would have been no reason to run Sanctuary. But it's something I really want to focus on. Being able to gain the effects of my monsters while Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field seems really good. So opening up the next 2, which are exact identical copies of the other structure decks. This structure deck challenge is going to be pretty freaking fun. I know Eva's a 3 of. Off the bat, Eva just seems like a really good 3 of. If it's sent to the graveyard, so basically if I negate with a card effect, or if I use my counter trap card, like, come on, now I gotta play 3 Evas. So, we're gonna start off with the monsters. I'm obviously gonna use 3 Evas. This is gonna be, we're gonna go more for a counter trap negation route, seeing that that's what the Parshafts go. And we're going to follow up with 3 copies of Sacred Arc Air Knight Parshaft. Now, the reason behind 3 copies of this card, this is the one is when we negate a card, we can special summon it from our graveyard by banishing other fairies. And then it adds Parshaft cards from our deck to our hand, which the Sanctum of Parshaft is, you know, it's Valhalla. So it's kind of mandatory to get that. Obviously, I want to go with 3 Power Angel Valkyrias. That card is extraordinarily good. If I don't have Bountiful Artemis on the field, then that card can serve itself as a... Where's my third one? Oh, okay. It serves itself as a a searcher to Bountiful Artemis. So far we have 3 Eva, 3 Sacred Knight, 3 Power Angel Valkyria. For the monsters, for the rest of the monsters, I don't think I'm going to run any of the Parshaft cards. Looking at them, they don't seem great. One of them, if it inflicts piercing damage, draw a card. Okay. We use this in GOAT format, so I'm very well accustomed to this. Neo Parshaft, the Sky Paladin, special summoning by tributing 1 Air Knight Parshaft. So it has to be tribute summoning using this card. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. If this card inflicts damage to your opponent, draw 1 card. While Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field, it gains the difference. I'm not feeling this card because it doesn't really add to the trap negation or, you know, the negation strategy. Meltiel Shades of the Sky says each time a counter trap card is activated, immediately after it resolves, gain 1,000 life points. And if you do, if Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field, destroy 1 card your opponent controls. Now it is a level 4 light fairy monster, and it couples well with Valkyria. So I'll run 1 copy of that. It's destruction, and it allows me to gain life points for the counter trap cards that I use. Harvest Angel of Windows says when this card is destroyed by battle, automatically not good. Bountiful Artemis is probably the most essential piece of the deck. We're going to run 3 copies of this, and it's when a card, counter trap card is activated, immediately draw 1 card. So basically, this is our draw engine to the deck. We're starting to come up with a really solid nucleus of monsters. So I'm only going to run 1 Metiel. Lanyard Liberator says each time a counter trap card is activated, immediately after it resolves, banish 2 of your fairy monsters, or add 2 banished fairy monsters to your hand. Ooh, this card actually seems really, really... I don't want to play it. If at best, I would play 1. Now, Guiding Ariadne says, when it's in your scale, you don't have to activate card effects. If it were to be destroyed, you can add, or you choose 3 counter trap cards and add 1 to your hand. I'm going to put this right here. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to play it, if how many. Arclord Christia would probably be a no. Just because I can't manage my graveyard as much as I would like to. Splendid Venus says all non-fairy monsters lose 500 attack and defense, and the activation of spell or trap cards on your field cannot be negated, so that's a no. Athena allows me to tribute a fairy to special summon a fairy, that's a no. This says when I draw a fairy monster, except during the damage step, I can reveal it to draw 1 more. That's going to be strictly a no, not only because it's a level 5, but also because it doesn't fulfill our strategy, and we're going to be running a fuck ton of traps. So us drawing off Hephaestus isn't going to happen as much as we want it. Hecatrice is a no. Gelen Duo's a no. Nova Summoner's just a no. Honest is probably the biggest no that you guys are like, why no Honest? Honest isn't good, fam. Okay, so here's a good one. Herald of Orange Light, Herald of Green Light, Herald of Purple Light. I'm going to set all 3 of these to the side. I might run some combination of those in the main board. Guiding Light says when this card is normal summon target 1 level 1 monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. Is Eva a tuner? Eva's not a tuner. Oh well, probably not. But DD Sprite is a tuner. Okay, so that's a no still. And Hanawada's a no. So far it looks like our monster lineup is going to be pretty small, which means we can attribute to our spells and traps a lot more. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 13... 14. I think I'll run 2 copies. So where is that second copy of Guiding? 15. Part of me wants to run another copy, but I'm not sure how it works or how, you know, how well it will work. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16, because that's an effect negator. This basically is our hand trap. So 17, 18. I think I should stop at 18. I'll probably come back to the monsters, but this is what we have so far. 3 Eva, because when it's discarded, or you can use so many great effects with it. Sacred Arc and the Parshath allows you to search your Valhalla cards, and basically when you negate it, special summons itself. Valkyria searches when we negate. Mattel searches or destroys when we negate, and we gain 1,000 life points. Bountiful Artemis draws when we negate. Guarding Ariadne says we don't have to pay for card effects, and Herald of Orange Light is just another monster effect negator. So that's 18 monsters so far. We might come back to the monsters and add more, or I might change my mind on a couple of cards. This card is an instant 3 of the Sanctum of the Parshath. Card's best card of the deck. Easy peasy. And I also want to run 3 copies of Ties of the Brethren. Now, the reason why I'm running 3 copies of Ties of the Brethren is because I can target any of my monsters, Guiding Ariadne, Bountiful Artemis, Meteo, Sage of Sky, Power Angel, and being able to special summon all 3 of them to my side of the field for the cost of nothing is really good. That's what I really want to focus on in this particular build. Being able to abuse Ties of the Brethren to get all of my monsters out and then gain so many effects when I activate my counter trap cards. So 3 copies of the Sanctuary, the Sanctum of Parshath, 3 Ties of the Brethren. That's going to be 6 so far. Is there any other spells I would use? Okay, the Sanctuary of the Sky is... it's so bad. But it's like... I'm just hoping that if I can pull off Parshath by itself to search the Sanctuary of the Sky, or, you know, the Sanctum of Parshath, I'm fine. I don't need to run Sanctuary of the Sky, because this card, it just isn't... it's not good. Cards from the sky, banish 1 light fairy monster in your hand, draw 2 cards, you cannot special summon, or conduct your battle phase. Okay, so I can't even ties with this card. Celestial Transforming's no, Valhalla's a no. Alright, we're just going to run a fuck ton of counter traps. We're going to run 3 copies of Divine Punishment. That should be a given. And then 3 Rebirth of Parshath, because this card's, it's busted, literally. It summons whatever we need to our side of the field, and in turn, this guy is going to search us our Sanctuary of the Sky. So where are my 3 Divine Punishments? Uh-oh. Looks like I can't find them. Here's the second one. Divine Punishment is going to be really good in this build, because it's a free negate just by controlling Sanctuary of the Sky. Worst case scenario, we keep it in our hand for Rebirth of the Parshath. So 3, 6. I want to run Ultimate Providence, but I think we're going to be better off running Dark Bribe, or like more copies of Dark Bribe over Ultimate Providence. So I'm just going to put 3 copies of Dark Bribe. Dark Bribe isn't the best counter trap, but it's a decent one for what we have nonetheless. If we're gaining all of our cards' effects, then giving them a +1 doesn't matter, especially if we're stopping something like, you know, something really important of theirs. If we're like doing this to a Raigeki, yeah, I'll let you draw a card to protect all 3 of my monsters. That's nothing. So 3, 6, 9. I have 18 monsters, so 27. I'm at 33, if I'm correct. 34 would be the Solemn Warning. 35. I think I'm going to run 2 Ultimate Providence. It isn't a bad card. It's a pretty good card. And it allows us to, you know, if we have Guiding Ariadne on the field already, we don't have to pay the cost. So we just negate a card for free. So 3, 6, 9, 12. Drastic Drop-Off is going to be pretty good for stopping all of the search cards that are going on. So I think it's going to be a pretty good card. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20. And Recall negates monster effects. When your opponent activates a monster effect, your opponent draws 1 card. Also negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. I guess we'll run 2 copies of Recall to make it 22. We really want to get out as many counter trap cards as possible. And unfortunately, this doesn't allow us to play all of the greatest counter trap cards, but nonetheless, we still get to play some pretty decent counter trap cards. Now, I wish I had sleeves, but I'm just going to shuffle pretty lightly. Let's make sure this is 40. This doesn't feel like 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I'm at 39. I'm missing one card. Yeah, I'm missing one card. Why am I not playing him? He's not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, I guess I was playing him. The Minerva Sky Scholar. So basically what I'm going to do now is just show you guys the deck profile and the reasoning and explanations why I'm playing certain cards. So hopefully it can help you guys. I think that this is a really solid list. We're going to play 3 copies of Sacred Arc Air Knight Parshoff. This card is the best card of the deck, it looks like. It not only searches all the cards we need, it allows us to inflict piercing damage. It can be summoned from the hand or graveyard, so it's pretty good. 3 copies of Power Angel Valkyria. This card searches what we need when we need it. If we already don't have Guiding Ariadne from our decks or on our field, Bountiful Artemis on our field. Eva allows us to, I keep forgetting its entire effect. When it's in the graveyard, banish 2. Oh, it allows us to keep shuffling and adding more light monsters from our deck to our hand, which means I'm going to have to try to find a way to add more light, level 2 light monsters from our deck to our hand. It's not going to be that hard. I think I'm going to go ahead and play 3 copies of Bountiful Artemis. The main card of the deck allows us to negate and draw. Meteo Sage of the Sky allows us to destroy. Guiding Ariadne is a really good card. We put it in our scale and we keep going. Herald of Orange Light, awesome card, effect and negation. And then Minerva Scholar of the Sky, that's going to wrap it up at 18. My 19th and 20 card, I'm just going to run another copy of Herald of Green Light. Now that should work in better tandem with Eva. We're going to run 2 more copies of Herald of Green Light and it negates spell effects. So negating spell effects are pretty damn good. So now we're at 20 monsters. For spells, which are very, very, very limited, we run 3 copies of Ties of the Brethren. This card on any of our level 4 guys brings out the rest of our deck. It's probably going to be our game ender if we can open it. 3 copies of the Sanctum of Parshoff. Sanctuary of the Sky while it's on the field. Searchable by the Parshoff monster. Just too good to ignore. For our traps, I'm actually going to drop 1 Divine Punishment and 1 Dark Bribe. And that'll put us back down to 40. For our traps, 3 copies of Rebirth of the Parshoff. Really awesome card. Best counter trap card we have in our arsenal right now, allowing us to summon Parshoff from the extra deck or deck to our side of the field and negating card effects. Its cost is pretty high, so we have to play a high amount of counter traps. 2 copies of Divine Punishment cards, a free walking whatever you want it to be on legs. 2 copies of Recall. I'm not a huge fan of Recall, but I don't really think we have much of a choice. It negates monster effects, so it's not that bad. I don't think I would run Dark Bribe over it. I kind of don't want to run Divine Punishment over it either because of the lack of Sanctuary of the Sky. 2 copies of Drastic Drop Off. I mean, really good for stopping your opponent's search effects. 2 copies of Ultimate Providence. This card's practically free when you have Guiding Ariadne in your scale, so we love that. Also, it can negate almost everything. 2 copies of Dark Bribe. Free negate. Your opponent gets to draw a card. I mean, it is what it is. And then 1 copy of Solemn Warning. Thank you guys so much for watching me and the Structure Deck Challenge. It was pretty fun. I think that this deck will do extremely well out of all the cards we were provided with this. I can't wait to give you guys an actual deck profile. So go ahead and give this video a like so I can go ahead and do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to support the #1 channel in the world, go ahead and check out my Patreon. We have some awesome rewards, and just donating $1 a month really helps. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.